A jungle adventure. We went on an unforgettable trip to Mysore last summer, and although it was only a 2-day trip, we experienced South India's vast wildlife through a safari in Nagarhole and by visiting the famous Mysore Zoo. It was a 4-hour journey by car from Bangalore with our cousin, brother, and father. We ended up blasting music the whole while, so it was a pleasant and not too boring car trip. Once we reached the city, we made our way to the Mysore Zoo, where we spent about 2 hours admiring various species of animals. Starting at the bird enclosure, we saw the spoonbill, pelican, and painted storks. We also saw white and blue peacocks, hornbills, emus and ostriches, brightly colored flamingos, lovebirds, various types of geese, ducks, and more common birds like parrots, vultures, and eagles. As we went further into the zoo, we came across the reptile section, where we were fascinated by the sight of the king cobra, pythons, and star-studded turtles. We were stunned by the variety of animals that we came across. We saw many rare species of animals like gaur, nilgai, spotted deer, black bucks, bears, barking deer, all kinds of elephants, and of course our favorites, tigers and lions. Before leaving the zoo, we treated ourselves to some ice cream. Then we all jumped back into the car to drive to our next destination, HD Kote, which is a small town on the way to the forest. From there, we went to Handpost, a village on the edge of Nagarhole. We drove around Nagarhole, enjoying the greenery, and was surprised when we caught sight of a few elephants with a calf. They didn't seem too scared, and we managed to take a few pictures. It was around 4 in the evening when we set off to the field station, where we would spend the night. It was quite secluded, with only a few local restaurants. At this point, it was time for our brother and father to return to Bangalore, because they had to work the next day. We stayed behind with our cousin, however, and relaxed in the room at the field station for some time. The room was a small, cozy little place. It had a common areas with sofas and 2 bedrooms, each with 2 beds covered in mosquito nets. This was helpful at night, when it seemed like all the mosquitoes in the world decided to attack us. We had a light supper in the station that consisted of some staple South Indian delicacies and went to bed soon after. The next day, we woke up bright and early at 4 a.m. to head to the Forest Department safari post near the Antarasante gate of Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. The queue to get tickets for the safari was quite long. After waiting for a while, we finally got our tickets and hopped into one of the buses. We were quite lucky, as we secured a seat by the window. Cameras and phones in hand, ready to click pictures, we waited in anticipation as the bus started on the 2-hour-long journey through the wild. Luck was with us, as barely 5 minutes after the journey began, we spotted a tiger. We had never seen a tiger in such close proximity before, and we stared at the beautiful animal in admiration. As the bus moved along, we saw many deer, elephants, monkeys, and birds enjoying themselves in their natural habitats, in contrast to what we saw in the zoo. Our cousin, who was quite skilled at photography, took some amazing pictures of the animals that we saw. We spent a glorious 2 hours on the bus, not feeling bored for even a second. We are such animal lovers, so it was indeed an amazing experience for us to be surrounded by animals for a whole 2 hours. The furthest point that the bus reached was a crystal clear lake with a whole lot of deer on the other side. There must have been around 50 deer, peacefully minding their business on the other side of the lake, along with some of their fawns. It was an amazing sight, and we got some great pictures of that as well. Finally, it was time for the bus to turn around and go back. Once the safari was over, we took a final trip to the field station and packed up all our belongings. We ate a quick breakfast at a local restaurant and then took a bus to Mysore. Once we reached Mysore, we visited the Mysore Palace and then took a train back to Bangalore. It was a memorable trip, one that we will never forget, and we can't wait to go on more exciting trips like this with our cousin again.